You're with the weekend edition of the Buck Stops here. Union ministers, chief ministers, industrialists, bureaucrats, movie stars were all in attendance as Chandrababu Naidu was sworn in this evening as Chief Minister of Residuary Andhra Pradesh. It's been a glittering ceremony. Uma Sudhir also joining us at this point live from Mangalgiri, where the celebrations continue as we speak. Uma, the swearing in ceremony, likes of which we've rarely seen before, but the road ahead for the Chief Minister is not going to be an easy one.
Biggest swearing in ever, perhaps in the history of India itself. About 5 lakh people attending and a galaxy of union ministers and chief ministers from across the country. Chandrababu Naidu, in what could be expected of him in his own style, making it into brand Andhra Pradesh, the new Andhra Pradesh that he has become chief minister of at 7:27 p.m. this evening. Ankita.
All right, a grand oath-taking ceremony, but is the road ahead going to be extremely tough? Joining us at this point on this discussion tonight, K. Kavita, Lok Sabha MP from the Telangana Rashtra Samiti, Kingshuk Nag, senior journalist, author of Battleground Telangana, Chronicle of an Agitation, also with us tonight, as is Uma, who will be joining us from Mangalgiri live. But Kavita, let me begin with you. Chandrababu Naidu doesn't attend KCR swearing-in ceremony. KCR doesn't attend Naidu's. Aren't the one-time party colleagues, now political rivals, of course, and as chief ministers of neighbouring states, really getting off on the wrong foot right at the very beginning?
I don't think, Ankita, it will matter all that much. Because the very first cabinet meeting of the Modi's government has, set off both of us in different directions, because it was Venkaiah Naidu and Chandrababu Naidu who insisted that an ordinance be bought on Polavaram, and that itself, set out the whole issue in a very wrong taste. So KCR could not attend his Chandrababu Naidu garu ceremony, and Chandrababu Naidu garu could not attend KCR ceremony. Well, I believe, but let's not. We will try not to dwell into the past all that much. We will try and forget everything, and we will try to work together for a brilliant future. That's all I can say, because not much to discuss about it. Yes, we could not attend each other's ceremony, but looking ahead, at least we should be able to have a good working relation.
Good working relationship, but the Telangana Rashtra Samiti has already been very critical of this swearing-in ceremony that you're calling an extravaganza. Do you actually believe that, a state that's already in deficit to the tune of 15,000 crores perhaps shouldn't have been splashing out on day one like this?
Sincerely, Ankita, I would really not want to comment on this, because this day should belong to them. Today is sworn in as a CM, and it is not fair to comment on the very first day on many issues. Yes, political parties or the leaders in the Hyderabad must have commented something, but from the Delhi's point of view, I would say he's become the CM, enjoying the moment, let him do that. But he's been very critical of KCR's government as well. Just, a 6-day-old government, he's been very critical on many issues on the Telangana government as well. So I would expect the same kind of courtesies from Mr. Naidu also, because both of us are new states, both of us are starting afresh. We should be not critical of each other very soon, because we have just started. You can't get the result right away.
Kavita, this is Uma from Mangalgiri. Today, of course, is the first day when Chandrababu Naidu is swearing in as Chief Minister, but your party has been rather sarcastic, saying that Naidu is in fact a guest with us for the next few years. You have to have a shared capital. Doesn't a cordial relationship between the two Chief Ministers the minimum that we can really expect at a time when both the states, in fact, are going to be in massive competition? Instead of undercutting each other, isn't a partnership the way forward?
No, Ma, you're very wrong. We are not competing with Andhra Pradesh at all. We will be competing with states like Punjab, Haryana. We'll be competing with Kerala in literacy rate. We won't be competing with Andhra Pradesh. We are already far ahead of Andhra Pradesh, and that has been the demand of Telangana people, that we have everything. We have natural resources, but we've been systematically and I would say discriminated, continuously by the consecutive Simandhra governments. Now that we are a separate state, we have our own CM, we have self-rule now. We will show India how far Telangana will be able to develop, will become a model state very soon. Our competition is not at all Chandrababu Naidu or Andhra Pradesh. So there is nothing to be not cordial with him. We are in fact
quite worried that with the tax industry, Yes, Kavita, I was just saying that with the tax stops that have been announced for new Andhra Pradesh, KCR, your Chief Minister, is quite worried, and that's also the reason why he has gone to Narendra Modi, saying that Telangana should be treated on par. Several industries, we hear at least about 1,000 small and medium industries have approached the ROC in Hyderabad asking for shifting their base or at least establishing a base in Simandra. Isn't that a worry?
It is not a worry, Uma. It is our right to be treated very fairly and very equitably by the central government, because every decision the central government is going to make right now will leave a lasting effect on both the states. So if you are going to give tax incentives to Andhra Pradesh and not to Telangana, naturally the industry from Telangana will drift away to Simandra. How is it fair? And as a central government and from a leader like Mr. Modi, who has been continuously talking about good governance and states progressing ahead and states having more rights than the central government, it isn't fair to not treat Telangana on the equal footing. All I am saying is we are not worried about anything. We have tremendous amount of natural resources. We are a bountiful state. We can forge ahead very soon. But a discriminatory attitude from the central government is not good for any state, not only for Telangana. Today there might be some states where Congress is the government, but it cannot be discriminated, because after all we are a part of Indian Union.
All right.
That is why Mr. KCR Garu had met Mr. Modi ji.
Okay. Let me just bring in Kingshuk Nag as well at this point. Kingshuk Nag, the TRS might say that they are not worried. But did Chandrababu Naidu have a point to prove with this glittering swearing-in ceremony? Was it in a sense perhaps to dispel the pessimism that's been sort of associated with residuary Andhra Pradesh, send out a message that brand Andhra Pradesh is going to be recreated from scratch almost?
Yes, I think that's the message he wanted to show to the whole world, that everybody backs him. That's why so many central ministers came. The entire BJP is behind him. Therefore, he's trying to tell his people that, look, with the central government behind me, I am going to recreate what magic I created in Hyderabad, in entire Andhra Pradesh, and I'm going to create a magic capital here. And also the fact of the matter is that he is in competition with Telangana. There is no doubt about it, whatever Ms. Kavita may say. And both these chief ministers will be looking over their shoulders and competing with each other. The competition is between them.
But does he have a head start because of his alliance with the BJP?
Yes, and they will operate out of a secretariat which is next to each other, and they will be treading on each other's toe all the time. There is no doubt about it. There will be massive competition, and Mr. Chandrababu Naidu has already told that in 2009 he wants to win the elections in Telangana. Not that I say that he will, but he'll make an attempt to win the elections in Telangana and so be the boss of two states. He also says that in Greater Hyderabad area, he has already, in coalition with the BJP, he has won most of the seats. Therefore, he has some sort of right over Hyderabad.
Kavita, do respond to that. Kavita, do respond to that. Chandrababu Naidu saying that the TDP is going to come to power in Telangana as well, and perhaps then, he won't have to worry about building a new state capital. He could continue from Hyderabad.
Ankita, first of all, one should really understand Chandrababu Naidu had ruled over Andhra Pradesh for 9 years. Now when the residuary Andhra Pradesh, he goes there and says there is nothing here. Why is there nothing there when Chandrababu Naidu was such a powerful superpower CM or whatever he calls himself? Why isn't there anything in Andhra? All he had done was to focus whatever Hyderabad already had. It was only incidental that Chandrababu Naidu was the CM when an IT spurt happened India-wide. And Chandrababu Naidu claims that I have put Hyderabad on world map. It is not right, because at the same time, Bangalore prospered, Pune prospered, Gurgaon, look at Gurgaon, how it has changed now. So now whatever Chandrababu Naidu Garu or the TDP might say, all I just want to ask is a simple question. He had ruled over the entire Andhra Pradesh for 9 years. Why is there nothing in Andhra Pradesh right now, residuary Andhra Pradesh? Chalo, there is nothing in Telangana, we agree, because we were continuously saying that we've been discriminated systematically. Why isn't there anything? And people of Andhra are not, they have given him a mandate, I would say. I would not like to comment on the day one, but we are not comparing ourselves with Andhra Pradesh. We will be far ahead of Andhra Pradesh. We are already far ahead, because in urbanization, let me tell you, today's India's average urbanization is 33%, whereas Telangana's average urbanization is 40%. India's average green cover is 33%. Telangana is already at 25%. Where is Andhra? You can compare. We have no comparison. We are already a bountiful state. We will not be looking at each other's over each other's shoulder. Whatever Kinshuk has to say, he can say. And there would be some.
Yes, Kavita, but I mean, can you take credit for that at this point?
Yes, yes. Hyderabad is not built in past 60 years, Ankita. Hyderabad is a very old city. Hyderabad is been built 400 years ago and we prospered industrially. Continuously we were saying the same thing, that in this past 60 years we have in fact declined. We were at number 5 when Nizam was ruling us. We were the 5th largest city in India. We are still the 5th largest city in India. What did Chandrababu Naidu add to Hyderabad? You please tell me. Kinshuk knows it much better. Hyderabad still has the same old infrastructure that Nizam had built. Nothing the Andhra rulers have done. Only they had done was to develop the high-tech city and the surrounding areas where they themselves bought many lands and benefited out of it. You know.
So does Chandrababu Naidu now have to shed that tag of being the person who built Hyderabad into that IT hub, but perhaps didn't really look beyond? Uma, he's been out in the wilderness in a sense for the last 10 years or so, but now given the fact that he's written on the back of this poll promise the farm loan waiver, it's the first file he signed. I don't know whether he signed it already, but he certainly announced that he was going to sign it soon after his swearing-in ceremony. Is that going to be rather a millstone around his neck, given the fact that we're talking about close to 80,000 crores in farm loans?
Ankita is in fact signed 5 files as soon as he took over as Chief Minister, took oath as Chief Minister. The first file that he signed was on the farm loan waiver of loans for weavers as well as for the SHG groups. Of course, that's going to be a big bill, and I would think in a sense that he has learned a few lessons from K. Chandrasekhar Rao's experience. Only last week, in fact, Mr. KCR announced that he is also going ahead with his farm loan waiver, but imposing certain conditions, hoping to curtail in fact the financial burden by saying that only loans under 1 lakh rupees, loans taken in the last 1 year alone, and also gold loans will not fall in the category. And he immediately had to face protests from across the Telangana region. Perhaps learning a lesson from those pages, Chandrababu Naidu has said that he is going to impose no conditions at all, and that his loan waiver is going to be inclusive of all sections of people who he has promised. Of course, that's not something that's practical for a state like Andhra Pradesh, which is really on a deficit budget, looking to build. And as you mentioned, that bill could come to 76,000 crore rupees. And even if you were to segregate the different categories and said that gold loans will be exempted, and other allied agricultural activity loans will be exempted, even then he has to cough up to 35,000 crore rupees. And if his government is going to take loans for that or offer bonds against that, that's a huge setback. Already industry is making noises, not too happy with this huge financial burden that this new state is going to incur. Ankita?
Right, Kinshuk,
I have an objection with what Uma had said. Can I please come in for a minute?
Go ahead.
The CM of Telangana, KCR, had announced the farm loan waiver, not anticipating any help from the center. In fact, we had calculated our own budget. We said, yes, this we can do, and we had promised, and we have never gone back on it. Our financial minister had made a premature
statement. Not gone back on it, Kavita, but there have been riders. Once riders imposed, talking about farm loan waivers only between 2013 and 14.
Uma, Itala Rajendar, who was a finance minister, he made an interim statement only after having a brief meeting with the bankers, which was taken in a wrong sense and which was blown out of proportion by the media. KCR Garu, our CM, had today clarified and issued a statement saying that we are standing by our promise in the manifesto. That is the farm loan waiver up to 1 lakh. Now, I just want to make a point here that Chandrababu Naidu Garu had made a promise of waiving of 76,000 crores, entirely depending on the central government. All I am saying is, if we are going to bail out states like this,
the union budget can really make any allowance for waiving of farm loans in one state. The state government of Andhra Pradesh, in fact, is talking about raising loans and not really depending directly on financial help from the center. But Kavita, I wanted to take you up on another point.
That is the question.
Chandrababu Naidu saying that he will emerge as the most important party perhaps in the Telangana region. He is obviously pitching himself as an opposition party to the TRS in the Telangana region. But your party, even after the state has been formed, are you going to talk divisive language, regional language, painting the TDP as a party that belongs to the other region and therefore not entitled to operate out of Telangana? Will the divisive politics continue?
They are an Andhra party, Uma. That is a matter of fact. Chandrababu Naidu is from Rayalaseema, is not from Telangana. He is saying that he is going to rule in Telangana. Let him try his best. All I am saying is good luck to him to take Andhra Pradesh to a good level, better level. You know, if they are starting already on a deficit and he is making promises like farm loan waiver, let us see. Let us just have some patience, wait for 1, 2, 3 months and see how they are going to cope up with the situation. He will be too busy coping up with the political situation, financial situation in Andhra Pradesh that I don't think he will be able to focus on Telangana. Let us wait. I wouldn't say, you know, I don't want to kill their enjoyment on the day one.
Okay, Kingshuk, Nag, really, are we seeing a lot of tall promises in a sense from Chandrababu Naidu in terms of the poll promises he's made? Is it going to be an uphill task?
Okay, the first thing is that Chandrababu Naidu, after he lost the 2004 election, lost all his appetite to say that he had built Hyderabad. And for 8 years, 9 years, he never used to mention in private that he built Hyderabad, IT industry in Hyderabad. He focuses attention on giving freebies to farmers and promising it. So he actually changed tack and he's continuing that. But let me tell you, this farm waiver business, whether it is KCR or Chandrababu Naidu, is not an economic sound principle, is not based on sound economic principles. It is the continuation of the Congress policy of entitlement. And these two gentlemen who belong to different parties, I don't know why they are insisting on farm waivers. Who's going to pay for that farm loans, the waivers? The people, the taxpayers are going to pay for it. This is a very unsound basis as far as Chandrababu Naidu is concerned and even KCR is concerned. Don't start your government by starting on loan waivers just because you have promised things in your manifesto. And you have promised things in your manifesto, it is in a sense a bribe to the voters to vote for me. What sort of economic policy is this?
That perhaps the politician has taken over the pragmatic administrator? Does this go against the grain really?
Yes. And the moment they are in government, they are realizing that they cannot do it. And KCR himself realizes that. Therefore, what he promised in his manifesto and what his finance minister announced on the first day is quite different. I understand KCR's constraint, and Chandrababu Naidu will also realize this constraint. Just because he is in alliance with the BJP doesn't mean the central government can waive off 54,000 crore loans, because immediate demand will come from other states, not in this region. Who's going to ultimately, whatever loans are waived off by banks are paid by taxpayers, that is by me, you and everybody. Why should we bear that? I want to ask this question of all the politicians. This is just a continuation of Congress style politics which was started by Janardhan Pujari many years ago when he was the banking minister, and we as citizens of the country don't want it. This is all for political benefit. There is no economic rationale.
Kavita, respond to that.
Yes, I totally agree. It is a very unfortunate phenomena started in probably Devilalji's era, where he first waived off 76,000 crores,
but
I
your
believe,
party is doing
for
the
the
same,
entire
Kavita.
nations. Yes, populist schemes, you know, politicians and political parties are in a compulsion to go ahead and do it in the time of elections. And only one thing that you should really appreciate is about the parties who stand by it later on, who will try to balance the growth and also their political promises. You know, we have to balance both. I cannot lie to you on the national media. We have to have populist schemes, but at the same time we should also have the development factors. And what Kingshuk has said is right. We are not wasting the money, but we are also, farmers are also in a state of distress. They need to also have some strength, and the government should strengthen them, especially in a new state like Telangana. Farmers have been very stressed, and they need to be taken care of immediately. And we are
yes, Kavita, I just want to ask Kingshuk this. Hyderabad has seen very bad times in the last few years, and even now if TDP is going to want to have a presence, its unit in Telangana wants to have a presence and a role in the Telangana region, do you believe life for people in Hyderabad region is going to continue to be really on the edge? Are we going to see a flight of capital really from Hyderabad to the Seemandhra region? Because as you and I know, most of the industry in fact is actually run by the people from the Seemandhra region.
There are some apprehensions that there will be flight of capital, but it may not actually happen, and therefore the industry minister Mr. K. Tarak Rama Rao is moving from place to place, talking to ISB, talking to other industrial forums, trying to give them comfort that please don't go away from here, please bring your new investments here. We will be a very, very industry friendly government. And I'm sure he is well-meaning, the Chief Minister is also well-meaning, Kavitha is also well-meaning, and I don't know whether the industry will fly or not, but I think this KCR government will also try very hard, though it is contrary to their image is one of agitation, but I'm sure they will try their level best because they are also in a political party, they also want to be there. Hyderabad has already been built, it was partly built by the Nizams and the new lease of life was given to them by Chandrababu Naidu who built it as an IT destination, and I am sure this current government will try very hard and will try to make this place industrially very, it will make it a service industry hub, and I am sure they will do it. And at the same time there will be heavy investment in Andhra region also, because Andhra region is endowed with a long coastline, so you will have port based development there. In Hyderabad you will have service industry, IT sector, IT services, banking services. Already you have got a huge good airport here, and you have got outer ring road and all those infrastructure is already there in Hyderabad. And Hyderabad, the Telangana government will leverage on that fact. And in Andhra, the task is bigger because Chandrababu Naidu made the cardinal mistake of only developing Hyderabad and nothing else.
Okay, and the task perhaps much bigger. Today, Chandrababu Naidu taking oath for the third time, but this time as Chief Minister of Residuary Andhra Pradesh. He has big promises to fulfill and tough challenges ahead. We're going to leave it at that for tonight. Uma Sudhir, thanks for joining us from Mangalgiri live tonight. King Shuknag, K. Kavitha, thank you very much for being with us. The other big story we're tracking, China made contact with the new Indian government today as its Foreign Minister Wang Yi, special envoy of President Xi Jinping, held talks with External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj in New Delhi. India said later all issues of significance were on the table, including border tensions, Tibet, staple visas and the trade imbalance. Achal brings us that story.
New beginnings between Asian giants. A 3-hour meeting between External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and her Chinese counterpart Wang Yi resulted in a new roadmap for the next few months, which includes 6 high-level meetings at the President and Prime Minister level. They also discussed border issues including Tibet and border incursions, as well as balancing the trade deficit which is currently in China's favor.
Mrs. Sushma Swaraj did talk about Chinese investment into India and how to promote Chinese investment into India, including through possible industrial zones or industrial parks that could be established here.
And also border disputes, if we could get some, it was discussed, but war was discussed. Whatever you can share at this moment.
The perennials of India-China engagement were discussed comprehensively.
Wang Yi is meeting Prime Minister Modi tomorrow. The Prime Minister will also have a chance of meeting the Chinese Premier at the BRICS Summit this July. Prime Minister Modi has visited China 4 times in his 15 years tenure as Gujarat Chief Minister.
Journey to 1,000 miles starts with a single step. That is a Chinese proverb. But will these steps be limited to friendly economic interactions or move closer to the disputed borders in a way that a solution appears? Incursions can delay economic progress and put the government on a back foot. That has been and continues to be India's biggest challenge vis-a-vis China. In New Delhi with Tulsi, Aanchal Vora, NDTV.
The police in Greater Noida in Uttar Pradesh have detained 4 people in connection with the murder of BJP leader Vijay Pandit. The police believe personal rivalry could have been the motive behind the politician's murder. A local criminal gang is suspected to be involved. Pandit had received several threats in the past.
Supporters of BJP leader Vijay Pandit on a rampage outside the police station and the DM's office, throwing stones and setting vehicles on fire. They were protesting against the killing of the Dadri leader, who was shot dead by unidentified men on motorcycles outside his shop on Saturday evening.
The area remained tense even on Sunday, as Rapid Action Force and PAC were deployed to maintain order in the area, and the entire market was clamped shut for security reasons.
कुछ लोगों को ऑलरेडी हिरासत में लेकर विवेचना की जा रही हैं। बहुत उम्मीद है बहुत जल्दी जो है जो घटना में संलिप्त लोग हैं उनको पकड़ लिया जाएगा और उन लोगों को कड़ी से कड़ी सजा दिलाने की कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
दुखद घटना है, इस तरह की दुखद घटना है कि किस तरह से जो वहां पर हुआ है, लेकिन प्रशासन का और हमारे माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी का दृढ़ संकल्प है कि पहले वहां पर जो कानून व्यवस्था वो नियंत्रण में करके जिससे किसी आम आदमी प्रभावित ना हो, और दूसरा जो अपराधी हैं उनको जल्दी से जल्दी जो है गिरफ्तार करके उनके बाद कड़ी कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
The UP government has also removed the circle officer for firing on the protesters.
जब तक हम किसी निष्कर्ष पर पहुंचे तब तक जो अनुज चौधरी डिप्टी एसपी हैं उनको पुलिस लाइन में जो एसपी का दफ्तर होता है उस दफ्तर से उनको अटैच कर दिया गया।
The family claims a local Samajwadi Party leader upset with Pandit's support to the local BJP MP is behind the attack.
देखिए, विजय पंडित की हत्या में से मेरा दूर दूर तक कोई रिश्ता वास्ता नहीं, और न विजय पंडित जी से मेरे कोई ऐसे रिश्ते थे, न अच्छे न खराब। केवल वो एक जनप्रतिनिधि थे शहर के, इसके नाते हल्की फुल्की जान पहचान थी। कभी मेरी उनसे न फोन पे बात हुई, न कभी आमने सामने बैठ के बात हुई।
The party blames the lawlessness in UP.
देखिए, उत्तर प्रदेश में सरकार नाम की कोई चीज दिख नहीं रही है। उत्तर प्रदेश में कानून व्यवस्था पूरी तरह से ध्वस्त हो चुकी है, चौपट हो चुकी है, और उत्तर प्रदेश की सरकार जिस तरह से उस पर रिस्पांस कर रही है वो बहुत कैजुअल रिस्पांस है।
Police says they will make arrests soon, but the incident comes at a time when the state government is already facing criticism for not being able to maintain law and order. This time, a political leader falls as a target. With Deepak Singh and Tanima Biswas in Greater Noida, in New Delhi, Suprita Das, NDTV.
And finally, Mumbai got its metro today. The Versova-Andheri Ghatkopar corridor opening after a 3-year delay. Well, day one saw a few technical snags, but we hope it's just teething trouble.